So I have a theory.
What's your theory?
Shiro's a clone.
That's a very common theory.
Except it's not. Because in my version, the Shiro that's now is the real Shiro. And the Shiro that was around before was the clone. Reverse theory.
I'm already gonna need you to stop. You can't.
Well, you need me to stop with what?
Just no.
No what?
Why would they do that?
It makes a lot of sense.
Explain. Okay. All right. Tell me. Tell me how this makes sense to you.
So in the first episode,
Okay.
this is my first point. In the first episode, when they walk into the palace, the Altean palace, all of like the lights turn on and it wakes up Allura and Quran and like all that type of stuff. And it makes no sense for just a bunch of random aliens to walk into this place, and he's trying to keep his daughter safe, but then that works and it turns everything on. Just anything moving in there turns something on.
It's motion detected.
So it would make a lot more sense if one of them had some sort of weird Altean DNA. So I was thinking about it. So it would make sense if somebody had like some Altean DNA in them, right? So I was thinking, I think it's Shiro.
So your theory isn't that Shiro is Altean. Your theory is Shiro is a clone with Altean DNA.
Yes, Zarkon took Shiro, then cloned him and put Altean DNA in him, then sent him down to Earth to get the red line. The blue line. I'm sorry, the blue line. He sent him down to Earth to get the blue line.
Okay. No.
And then he went up into space, went into the castle, which they don't know where it is, right? So you have to get the blue line. That's why they sent him to Earth, because they knew the blue line was there. They sent him to Earth, he got the blue line, he went into the castle, which activated because he had Altean genes in him, because he was a clone and he was spliced.
Why would a clone have Altean DNA if they don't know where the black lion, or the, what is it, whichever line they needed, they don't know where that is?
The blue line?
No, doesn't whatever line they're trying to find. Why would they give him Altean DNA?
To start up the castle, because they need Allura. They need her to tell them where the lions are. And they wouldn't trust somebody who was one of them. They had to make it a different race. So he looks human. He is human, except for the Altean DNA that's spliced in him.
But he's a clone.
Yes, he's a clone. And the new part where everybody's like, oh my god, he's acting different, and his haircut's stupid. He must be a clone. That's the real one. And the reason why it's the real one, and this is just from like a plot perspective. This is why the writers did this.
Okay.
Is because Matt showed up in the season, right?
Okay. And
Matt was the only one who actively knew Shiro before the whole stuff happened, right? So he would know that Shiro's a little bit of an asshole. And that's why people think he's a clone, because this Shiro's a little bit of an asshole, and the other one was like really like, oh, I'm gonna help you, and teamwork. And this one's kind of an asshole.
Okay.
But Matt is the only one who would know, oh yeah, I can tell the difference. What's wrong with Shiro? Why isn't he an asshole? So that's why they had to replace him with the real Shiro, from a writer's perspective. And also, like, there's another theory that Keith knew Shiro from before, which, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Is that canon?
I think they did, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so in his weird training stuff, Shiro's a bit of an asshole, and people were like, oh, so that's why Shiro's a clone, right? Except maybe that's the Shiro he knew before, the one he idolized before, was a bit of an asshole. And so that's why it was that, because it's from his past memories. And so that was an asshole, and that's why it fits the new one.
Wait,
because that's the real one.
Wait. So you're saying that his vision of a mean Shiro, that Keith's vision of a mean Shiro, during his weird training to get his knife back, was the real Shiro from his memory.
Yes, I am.
And that's why Shiro behaves like that.
Because he's real.
Because he's the real one.
But the Shiro of that time didn't behave like that because he was a clone.
So you're saying the Shiro now
Mm-hmm.
is not a clone.
He's real.
Yeah,
you're saying
You're saying
dumb
stupid.
sleeves and everything.
You're saying current Shiro
Yes.
is the real Shiro.
Yes, I am.
I have a problem.
What's your
I
problem?
have many problems.
What's your mini problems?
One,
Yeah.
he knew what Voltron was. He was trapped, right? He escaped, and his only thought is, I need to get to Voltron. Why?
Exactly.
What?
Zarkon wants Voltron. So he put it. He planted his mind. Your goal is to get Voltron.
No. You're telling me. No. You're telling me that the Shiro that we found in season 1 up
Yes.
until before he disappeared in season 2
Yes.
is the clone.
Yes.
But then you're telling me that in season 3, when Shiro's like, oh, I need to get to Voltron, that is the normal Shiro with his brain programmed into remembering that the Voltron is...
Okay. Oh, now I hear what you're saying. I was mixed up a little bit. I was talking
No,
about
yeah,
the
I'm
beginning.
asking
Now,
specifically, why is he
Okay.
going after Voltron? Why does he
I have
act
an
like
ex-
he needs to get to
I
Voltron?
have you think I don't have an explanation for this?
Then,
But I do.
then explain it to me.
I do. Okay. So,
Okay.
in order to get a very accurate description of Shiro, which they would need if the Keith knew him before thing was real, they had to give him an active line to Shiro's memory. Shut up. So, which means the Shiro in containment, in a base somewhere, was feeding information. And they were feeding information back and forth, which is why he knew about the team and he knew about Voltron. The only difference is the personality. What's your other problems? I think I solved it. What's your other problems?
So,
Don't laugh at me. This is good theory. Okay, so the real Shiro. It took a while for the Black Lion to let real Shiro in, right?
Okay.
Because the Black Lion didn't register that as somebody who previously had control of the lion. That's why it took a while. Because it had different DNA, because this Shiro doesn't have Altean DNA. Because he's the real Shiro.
So the lion...
So the lion was like, took its time, it was like, I don't recognize you.
So the lions can test your DNA.
The lions can totally see your DNA.
Okay.
It can also see your brain patterns and stuff, and clearly since one of them's a jerk and one of them's not. And also that explains why the other Shiro was able to get into the Black Lion so fast, because it had a direct link to Zarkon, and I think the Black Lion knew that. The Black Lion's loyal to Zarkon. And that's why it took a while for real Shiro to get control of the Black Lion.
He sent him to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
How did he know anything was on Earth?
I mean, they don't say that he knows that one of them is on Earth, but they know that one of them is on Earth. They knew that one of them was on
Very
Earth.
easily, he could have just sent him to Earth, and the lion couldn't have, might not have been there, and then he would have just released a clone back into the world, and it's
And
just like
then
nothing
they would
would
just
happen.
clone him again and try again. There's so many clones.
Where would they send him?
They could just clone him forever. Why couldn't they?
Resources. That's a lot. That's a lot of cloning.
Who cares? Maybe there's like 1,000 different Shiros on just like thousands of different planets out there that we haven't seen yet. Maybe this is like the 105th time that and then they sent him to Earth and was like, bam, we got it. This is the time. What's your other problems, Maya?
Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me.
What's your other problems, Maya?
Don't look at me.
What's your other problems, Maya? My will is stronger than yours. I just need to accept that.
Listen. But
They
they don't
need
know
to
where
get the other
Voltron
one.
is.
Exactly.
So why would they send him to Earth?
They had a vague idea where one of them was, so they sent Shiro to Earth, or places around Earth. Is there a Shiro on Mars? Maybe. Prove it's wrong. Prove there's not a Shiro on Mars. You can't. Anyways,
You can't prove that there is.
So they sent a Shiro to Earth, and then he did find the lion, and they were like, yes. And then he went back to the castle, which the lion knew where it was, to wake up Allura, to tell him where the other lions are, to get the other lions and start Voltron again so they can steal Voltron. Because they had no idea, for thousands of years, they had no idea where the other lions were.
So when Voltron was formed...
They were desperate.
So when Voltron was formed, and they had Voltron, and they knew where Voltron was now, because they have their clone in there, why didn't the clone just send them to Voltron? He was the leader. He could have just been like, hey, nah, we're gonna go head on to Voltron. We're gonna take Voltron. We're gonna go straight to Zarkon. We're gonna totally gonna beat Zarkon. Listen to me. I'm your leader. And then, why would they let him kill Zarkon? Why would they let him do that?
He went rogue.
He went rogue. So now you're telling me that he's not a puppet, but that he went rogue.
Yes.
You just changed it. Okay.
I can change my theory if I want to change my theory. He went rogue, and that's why they had to get him out of there. He went rogue. He wasn't giving them Voltron. He tried to kill Cyclone, and that's why they got him out of there. They were like, no, this clone is defective. Let's get rid of him. Fuck this clone. Out goes the clone.
So they returned
disappears clone. Real Shiro's now.
So they returned him. And
that's why real Shiro woke up, because they killed the clone.
So they killed the clone, and that's why Shiro woke up.
Sure.
So why doesn't he remember being kidnapped and dying if their brains were linked?
Because they erased that part. Like, as soon as the clone disappeared, the line was cut.
I think Shiro's a clone.
Okay.
But.
Okay.
Only the second one. The second one's the clone.
Like
why do you everybody
think the second
else.
Why is that second? Why is
because
I
that
choose
Shiro's
to
a clone
believe now is better than my theory if he's always been a clone.
I choose to believe in my heart that Space Dad is not a terrible man. So
why do you think that Clone Shiro is a terrible person? Clone Shiro seems like a nice person.
By Zarkon, apparently. So therefore, he
went rogue. Clearly, he cares about his team enough to go rogue.
But now you're also telling me...
But he's also dead.
Now, yeah, you're telling me he's dead now.
Yeah, Space Dad's dead. You have to get over it.
Here's the thing. I choose to believe he's not dead, so therefore I reject your theory.
Fine. It's a draw. I'm right, though.
No.
We're gonna find out in the next season that I'm right, and everybody else is wrong.
Well, you know what? If we find out you're right, I will tell you you're right. We will make a
new video of you just being like, I'm sorry, Lauren, you were right all along.
It'll be a public apology if you're correct.
Okay, fine. I'm always right, though.